Hello, this is Crystal, and you're watching Real Eyes on CryptoDealers TV. Yesterday, when I was speaking with a lot of guys from the conference, with a lot of attendees, with a lot of speakers, about the questions, which question you will ask Satoshi Nakamoto and so on and so forth, we ran so deep with Mr. David Lee, you can't even imagine. So I asked him to give me an interview under the Real Eyes program on CryptoDealers TV. So thank you so much for attending.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Unfortunately, I haven't been on your speech, but I know that a lot of people were even coming to you and saying that your speech was very good. Can you tell me in few words, what were you talking about?
Yes, my speech was about the token economy, whether it makes any sense to tokenize the economy itself. And I think the message that I was sending out in yesterday's talk was that there's a lot more than just speculating on cryptocurrency. I make a few statements that I think ring with many of the listeners over there. And one of the major points I've been talking about is that a blockchain is not really a blockchain unless you have a token. And I think that statement have a lot of people thinking what I was trying to say. And the speech was about blockchain being a very inefficient ledger, because being a centralized ledger is always more efficient. And blockchain being decentralized, you have to have P2P communication, you have to form consensus, you have multiple copies for storage, so it's inefficient in many aspects. So the question yesterday I was trying to answer was that why is it that everybody is so crazy about a ledger which is inefficient? And the answer lies in the fact that token is very important for the crypto and the tokenized world, because it is about incentive system. And I was saying that in terms of production efficiency, we now have the cheapest factories in the world that can produce faster, better, and cheaper. That is not the major problem, but we now have a lot of rules and regulation for good intention that is forming a lot of silos, and also a lot of interest that is not aligned. So we have a situation in this world now that it is not about production efficiency that we need to achieve, but we have to solve the problem about collaboration efficiency. So blockchain is just not a technology alone, but it's a trust machine, it's a relationship machine, and the way that you entice people to collaborate is through the tokens. Because with the token, you can allow untrusted people to work together. So one very good example will be Bitcoin. In the Bitcoin, there are four major players. The first group of players will be the miners who keep the ledger, and then we have the investors who hope for good returns, and then we have the user who try to use it for transaction, and finally we will have the developers who try to ensure that the system is resilient and continue to patch up all the problems that we have in the system. So these four groups of people in the old financial world and economic world, which many people are excluded, we'll be focusing on conflict of interest. That means if you're a miner, you shouldn't be an investor. You're an investor, you shouldn't be a user. Your user shouldn't be a developer, because there's a lot of conflict of interest. But in the case of Bitcoin or any other design, a good design of blockchain, it's all about alignment of interest. A single person can be a miner, an investor, user, and developer all at the same time, because the interest is totally aligned, and the conflict of interest is minor as compared to the alignment of interest. And that is the beauty of blockchain with tokens that people do not really understand. It is not about having a decentralized ledger to cut costs. It is not about cost efficiency. It is about enticing people to come together the best in the open source software, in the open mindset, in a benevolent economic incentive structure, in a global mindset, for people to come together so that you can crowdsource wisdom, so that you can crowdsource criticism to make your system more resilient. And that's why Bitcoin has never been hacked. And also very important to think about the token incentive system to encumber everybody's interest. Everybody's interest is actually put into the system, that nobody is compromised, so that people can enjoy it.
You see, only one question. I don't think that all of the blockchains are needed in token. If we will take Bitcoin, in this case, Bitcoin needs token. It can't live without a token at all. But looking on other projects or even companies that are doing the ICO and so on and so forth, they are making token just to make sure that the people who are investing in something, they are getting also something in their tokens, but they don't use it.
Yes. So I think the second point in my talk yesterday was about the word inclusive. I was talking about inclusive technology and inclusive in terms of finance. And in the case of inclusive technology, I give the example that in the open environment, we should embrace and be very inclusive in terms of technology. So those technology that, especially blockchain, we are now seeing chain within a chain, we are seeing side chain, we are looking at atomic transfer, we are looking at blockchain talking to blockchain. The future about blockchain is inclusive blockchain. And inclusive blockchain means that I have given an example that you can have a blockchain design.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about yesterday with you. I was amazed.
Yeah, you have to use the best in the private blockchain, use the best in the consortium blockchain, use the best in the open blockchain, and use everything at your disposal to have a business model that can serve people that is not being served at this moment. Because once you go offline, you will need to look at onboarding, identity, and a lot of people are not being served because we are not inclusive. And not only not inclusive in terms of finance, where the banks don't serve them, but also that being a technology people are talking about my blockchain, your blockchain.
Imagine the world where the EOS combines with Ethereum.
Yes.
It's impossible.
Yeah, so it's important for people in designing blockchain to think about giving people choices. It's important to make sure that fork are possible, so that if I want to fork a blockchain, I can do it because you respect people's choices. Because in blockchain world, we respect people's choices. It's a privacy that we want to have, and at the back of privacy is about human dignity. So you need to protect human dignity. That's why we are protecting privacy. And to do that, you have to design blockchain which is inclusive. And there's nothing such as my blockchain or your blockchain. It's a community blockchain. It is not your project. It is not my project. But it's a blockchain for the community. That is the blockchain spirit that we are talking about.
How do you think? Could it be in next way in the future? I think, or even I suppose, that all the people and all the jobs and all the things that they are doing, it will be tokenized and will be combined in one big. I don't want even to say the marketplace. I hate this word, because marketplace, for me, when I'm hearing the word marketplace, I'm always want to add word scam. So let it be like a bazaar, okay? This word, I think it suits much more better for this. So how do you think it will be in this way or not? Will all of the things, or would all of the things be tokenized, just to make sure that all of the blockchains can work together under one space?
Yes, I think that is the future, because if you go back to the history where we have the barter trade, that is where people are trading. I trade a cow with a few cattle with you.
Even kauris.
Yes,
even kauris. They were trading kauris.
Yeah, so, but the beauty of it is that not only that we are able to bring back all the trading that we used to do in the barter trade, we can now digitize them and fractionalize them. So I don't have to go to the market and bring my cow and exchange for 2 or 3 cattle with you, but I can bring a cow and I can sell away 10% of my cow. So fractional ownership is the beauty of blockchain, and This is very important. And so not only fractionalization, you can then now, as a farmer, I can trade with anywhere in the world. It's borderless. And that is also very important. And in the current world, we treat every cow as the same. But with IoT, with the heartbeat, with the blood stream, we know the health of the cow. So we don't treat every cow the same as well. And the problem with this world with so much speculation is because that we treat all commodity and homogenize them. So blockchain allow us to have a different way to look at things. Every cow is different. So every cow can have a different price. So through the smart contract, to the IoT, we know the health of the cow and therefore it has a different price. So it's very different from what we have now. So we have fractional ownership, we have heterogeneous goods transaction.
Genius.
So it's going to be a very different token economy that we are thinking about, and most of these goods are not traded at this moment. So if you are in designing blockchain project, my advice is not to tokenize the old economy and try to bypass IPO regulation, because the contribution to mankind is so little. But you try to tokenize a cow, a sheep, or a pig, or any other objects that we were not able to trade globally and tokenize it, you are introducing a new form of business model and you're contributing to mankind. And a lot of people in the world, 70% are excluded from our financial and our economic world. So we got to bring them back to our system. And the way to bring them back to the system is through blockchain. So this is
the point. This is the point. I have never heard like such a great, understandable things and the right things in this way. Never. I came to such things by myself, but it took me about half a year, maybe even a year. You did it for 10 minutes, even 5 maybe, I suppose.
Thank you. I've been doing research for 5 years and I was thinking very hard about it. I've been a hedge fund manager for very long. I was just thinking what is the most impactful thing that I can do. But without blockchain, I don't think we can do any of this. So I think the value of blockchain is a lot more than most regulated things, because now we are swarmed by all the noise about speculation rather than what the technology can do. So I hope that all these messages that we are sending to the regulators, to the government, and let them know that we really need to include this 70% of people who are outside the financial economic system. We need the government, we need the regulator, we need the policy maker to work together and see how we can use the technology to save the world, for carbon trading, for environmental protection, for financial inclusion, to have a major, for refugee, for identity, to have a real impact of the world. We now have the technology that we never used to have. And I've seen people in the villages, they have no water, they have no electricity, but they have a handphone. So give them the blockchain, give them the token, give them the handphone, and they can reach the world. And this is where we can make it as a bigger and better and growing world and sustainable. So this is very important to get it out there. And also one more point I want to say this, which I say it very briefly, is about using technology, because with AI, what we are having now is a situation that we have a lot of smart city. We have a centralized control, and we have a single point of attack. So if I were somebody who wants to control the world, I can take over the centralized control of a smart city, and I can turn all the buses, autonomous buses, everything into autonomous weapon. So this is something which is very dangerous. We need to increase the cost of hacking. And we have Zcash, zero knowledge, and we have a lot of other technology which are rejected by a lot of government. They don't allow Zcash to list in the exchanges or accept Zcash. But the technology of Zcash is about blocking the signal from the AI. Because by blocking the signal from the AI, if we have a programming error, the AI can control the whole human race. We need to block the signal from the AI. We need to have decentralized blockchain and storage and decentralized control so that the cost of hacking is very high to protect human mankind.
So you're afraid that the AI can harm on the humankind?
Well, I'm afraid that we always misconceive that we are sitting here and having all the robots serving us and taking away our job. But that may not be the case. It may be the case that the robot are sitting there and we are the slave to the robot because we either have a programming error or somebody who can control the world through the AI.
But you know, we have the all the people, they are having mind and undermind. Robots don't have undermind, and I think that every of people sometimes they are having like a great bright ideas, like a lamp, you know, like bingo, I did it. I know, wow, it came, I don't know from where, but it came. Robots can't get the information from the undermind to the mind. And in this case, I don't think that like AI will beat the humanity or will cause something to humanity.
Yes and no, but if one person can control the entire system, there's a single point of attack, then it's very dangerous. We will have a situation when one person can control the entire connected virtual world, IoT world, as well as all the big data. So that is something that I think
in this case,
so you have to have decentralized so that we empower every nodes and all individual to have independent decision making, because the most important thing is that to give people choices. The most important thing to respect people's privacy. The most important thing for us is to maintain the dignity of the mankind. So I think human dignity is what the crypto world is thinking about. It is not about just speculation. We need to protect human dignity.
Wow, David, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, high five.
Thank you.